Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Valoramous. In today's music producer tutorial, we're going to discuss organization of your Logic Pro template files. So this tutorial can apply to any digital audio workstation or DAW, but I'm a Logic Pro user, so this tutorial will probably be most beneficial for Logic Pro users. But this same process can be applied to any DAW. But I'm going to describe how you should organize your various tracks to simplify your mixing process and decision-making process when you are mixing and mastering your track, because I believe that organization is an underestimated and underappreciated topic for mixing your overall songs. And if you get this right and group certain tracks together in groups, it's going to make your leveling or gain staging, your use of reverb and equalization and other mixing effects such as saturation, compression, so much easier, and then allow you to glue all these different groups together to produce a cohesive track. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Valoramous. In today's music producer tutorial, we're going to discuss organization of various instrument groups within your Logic Pro project files. Now, these techniques can be applied to any digital audio workstation or DAW of choice, such as Ableton, FL Studio, Cubase, etc. So when I'm organizing my various musical instrument groups, I want to keep like elements together. That way it makes mixing that much easier. So, for example, when I am organizing my groups together, I want sounds that are relatively similar. So, for example, with percussive elements, I have shakers, rides, top drums. This is a progressive house loop. These are all going to be similar groups. They have a lot of high-end information. This will make mixing that much simpler, because when I mix these tracks as a group, I can oftentimes apply an extreme low cut on this group in order to keep these elements cohesive and then eliminate excess noise within the mix. So as I'm organizing my tracks together, I'm also using color codes to glue these groups together. And as you can see, I have other groups in this project file, such as bass, sub-bass, kick, claps and snares, tom drums. These are all in separate groups. Leads, arpeggios, synths, pads, plucks, chords. These are all in separate groups, and there's going to be several tracks within these groups that are like-minded elements or similar elements, which I can then process and group together with similar processing, such as equalization, saturation, compression, reverb, overall leveling and gain staging, etc. So when you're organizing your tracks, consider the various groups that you want to group together, and then simply organize your tracks. With the pads, I have 2 tracks in this group right here, at least for now, which I will group together. I have these plug-in chains, which I can then apply to the overall groups. This is a pads effects, which will process, and then I can simply adjust this EQ based on the information of these various elements. So here are plucks. We're going to apply plucks stack and reduce volume here. Just doing some simple gain staging. I don't know what it's going to sound like yet, but it's in synths. So the synths we're going to group together. Synthesizer, synth stack, preset. Gain stage the synths. And then with all these tracks, I also have a lot of sidechain processing to the punch kick. So Logic Pro is nice now because you can identify sidechain through this little like arrow symbol on all these sidechain plugins. And you can quickly go in there and then shape sidechain processing all these groups. I'm going to do this to the added tracks. So here the leads, apply sidechain, kickstart 2, apply more sidechain to the very, very low end, but also this kickstart, which is doing work as well. Flux, kickstart again. And you'll get better throughout time as a producer. We will create these various these saved plugin channel strip settings to apply to these groups, and then it'll make your process that much easier because you have like a template, and then with this template, and modified based on the sound. But you want to have like at least a base template, because it'll help you overall processing. It'll simplify the overall processing. Save this, add this. So, and then throughout time, again, you can save and update these channel strip settings. But organization, it's a very underestimated, underappreciated topic in my opinion. You're trying to make decisions as fast as possible, especially when you're in the composition, which is the creative stage. I wouldn't really advise delving too deep into the mix at that point. So yeah, all of these groups, except for the kick, are going to have this sidechain automation to the kick drum, because that kick drum, it is front and center of the mix and have its own special place. You don't want there to be any interference, because that kick needs to punch through the mix. That's why I label a punch kick, because it's going to punch through the mix. And then you can also automate these sidechain plugins as well. Of elements. Kick drum. And then adjust this mix, because you don't want it to be fully sidechain, but you want there to be some sidechain that way like there's some partial movement whenever the kick comes in. It looks like we have almost there. But again, consider the elements in your mix and then group like-minded elements together, because what you could do when you're done with the overall composition and arrangement is then you can bounce these groups to separate stems. And then right now we only have about 12 to 15 groups, and then you could do a stems mix, which is 10 to 15, maybe 20 tracks, and that'll make the mixing so much easier, like doing a stems mix. Your decision-making process will be that much faster, the less tracks you have to deal with. So there you have it. That is my tutorial on organization of various tracks, audio files, MIDI files, and instruments into various groups or subgroups to optimize your mixing and mastering workflow to make better or more rapid decisions, and then apply various mixing effects that belong to those individual groups, which will then allow you to create a more seamless, integrated, and cohesive track. So if you have any other comments, questions, tips, tricks, or concerns, please leave those in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.